This is going to be a quick one because I'm not going to do a full deck list. It's a little too similar to other Gorebyss decks, which I already have 2 on the channel, so if you want an idea of what those deck lists look like, you can go check out the Gorebyss and or Jumpy G deck lists I already have up. But I did feel like this deck was at least worth mentioning and doing a short video on. It was actually a comment by Jonjo Zone that had me thinking about steel types in the 2004 format. If you haven't checked out his channel, he does a lot of really good vintage Yu-Gi-Oh content, so give him a visit. Gorebyss and Metabyss don't particularly have any synergy together. They are paired in this deck purely for coverage. Because Metabyss is a psychic type and a steel type at the same time, it can hit for more weaknesses, particularly some key weaknesses in the 2004 metagame. Not only are you hitting Gardevoir for weakness, you also resist Gardevoir. You can slap around Crobat and Muck, but most importantly, and one of the biggest reasons that this deck exists, is you can hit Walrein for weakness thanks to that steel typing. In my Walrein video, I do feel like I criminally underrated that archetype just because of my personal bias against it. This deck was a menace, and it did blow up in popularity after people saw Puka use it at the National Championships and then again at Worlds. So of course, in addition to hitting Walrein for weakness, the deck also runs a lot of switching and swapping mechanics, that way you're not having to have that sheer cold effect stuck on you, and you can actually attack into this thing and get rid of it. Metabyss itself is weak to fire, which is problematic because of all the Blazikens running around, but that's why it's paired with Gorebyss, because Gorebyss is famous in this format for tearing Blaziken decks apart, benefiting from all of the psychic energy that you are going to be attaching to your Metabyss. Plus, Gorebyss has free retreat, which makes it perfect for letting Metabyss slip out of those sheer cold situations and then moving right back into the active position. Metal Juncture doesn't really come up all that much, but it is a useful power to have just for those swapping situations. You can only run 4 special metals in your deck, so it is nice to have the ability to move them back and forth. Squared attack can be very hit or miss, literally, because you're having to flip 4 coins, but when you're hitting for weakness, it doesn't feel as bad to see those tails come up. This deck is also noteworthy for not needing Dunsparce in it, because Beldum is gonna fill that role for you. It's not as consistent as Dunsparce because Magnetic Call forces you to flip a coin to see if you actually get to use the power, but it can search out other Beldum and put them directly onto your bench. You can then utilize Jirachi's Make-A-Wish attack to search out those evolution cards and put them directly onto those Beldum and sometimes Clan Pearls. Jirachi is also another psychic steel dual type Pokemon that you can swing with for some decent chunks of damage if that's what you need to close out the game. Given the right setup, you could be attacking with either of these Pokemon for hefty damage as early as turn 2 thanks to double Rainbow Energy. It's an efficient, hard-hitting deck on its own, but when you consider the spread it has on the 2004 metagame, it just gets even better. Like most other Gorebyss builds, you can also just slot in even more Pokemon, so whatever other weaknesses you want to hit, you can probably fit a line of that Pokemon in this deck as well. So let me know your thoughts below. Let me know if you've used this deck before, if you remember this deck from back in the day. If you want more vintage Pokemon TCG content, check out the channel. I got a bunch of stuff on there. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'll see you on the next one. Bye.